Intro to Regions 2. What are regions? Regions are wide geographic areas, like we talked about yesterday. How wide? Like really wide. They can cover a huge space of land. As we remember, regions help us understand an area that's around us, help us to define and understand all the complex places we have here on Earth. Yesterday, we discussed the geographic features. Today, we're going to look at human characteristics. But remember, these are types of thematic maps. Lenses we use to view regions. Yesterday, we did geographic. Today, we're looking at the human characteristics, such as population, economics, and culture. Human characteristics, things that we as a people have done that impact the areas, such as population. The amount of people who live in an area has a major impact on the region. The way where the colors are darker, if you look down here, red, orange, these areas right here, those are the most dense areas. So those are going to be our big cities. I'll have you look here, right here, where Columbus is a dot we have here in Ohio, as well as another red dot down there. That is where we have Cincinnati. If you look as we go out towards the west, it becomes a lot more green because the population is just a lot less out there. Not as many people per square mile as we have over here on the eastern side of the United States. Population varies by area. New York City has a high population, over 8.4 million people, whereas Springfield, Ohio has a small population. In comparison, only 59,000 people. But take that a step further and look at Urbana, Ohio, and that's an even smaller population at 11,000 people. All of those different types of populations really impact the region. Economics. Economics deals with how a group of people deals with available resources. Think money. For instance, this is the national GDP, which stands for basically the amount of money that the United States makes in a year. And each of these percentages shows you where our money comes from. So from Ohio in this Midwest area, over 14% of the United States money comes from this area right here, whereas 18% comes from California, Nevada, Washington, over here in the far west. I think it's an interesting map here that shows you different economic regions. Some examples of things that deal with economics are jobs. The types of jobs help shape the region, such as factory workers, farmers, or small businesses will really make a big impact. That really depends on available resources, such as coal, oil, lumber, all are ways that people make money in a region. Also, wealth, the amount of money that people have in these areas, the amount of money they can spend really makes a big impact on the region, the types of things you're going to have there. Last thing we're going to talk about today are culture. Traits of culture are the social traits that make up people's everyday lives, such as language, traditions, and religion. The picture right here of a Native American on a horse. Obviously, is some traditional clothing right there, showing things that go along with his belief systems. Here are some different Native American cultural regions. Each of these areas shows the distinct groups of Native Americans that were similar. Eastern Woodland Indians, Great Plains, Southeast. We had a lot of Eastern Woodlands. That's where Ohio would be. Traits of culture also include belief systems, all different types of religions, gods and higher powers, things like that. Another great example that's really tangible is clothing. The types of clothes that people wear says a lot about their culture, from traditional dress to high fashion items, as well as food. That's a really easy thing to understand about different types of culture. I think that's pretty prevalent in our daily lives. Different cultures create all sorts of different types of dishes. We have Mexican food, Chinese food, also different types of food that are indigenous to the United States. You have your Texas barbecue versus your Kentucky barbecue versus your Kansas City barbecue. Different types of food that are all the same kind of food, but very distinct to the culture that they are from. Population, economics, and culture matter. They matter because it really does impact the region. It really changes the way people feel about the region, the way people identify about the region. all the ways that make people feel connected, as well as the same and different when you're comparing different types of regions. Your wrap up questions today are the same as yesterday, but you have some new topics. So, something you learned about regions, something you already knew, something you thought was interesting, and a question you have about regions. I look forward to reading your responses. If you have any questions, you can contact us. Have a wonderful day.